Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on September the 17th, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So in terms of the news that came out today, ECB, we heard from ECB President Lagarde. She said that financing or funding has to be available to the market. So they're going to continue supporting the market, which means they will continue putting money into the market, which is negative for euro. As a result of that, we saw euro drop. And then in terms of the US here, we saw better than expected retail sales numbers. And the markets took this as a sign that economy or economic recovery was better than expected, which means the Fed will be raising rates at some point soon. As a result of that, we saw US dollar go up. So anytime there is talk about a country raising interest rates, that is positive for the currency. That's why we saw the stock market decline and US dollar go up. It did turn around, or the stock market turn around later in the day. We'll take a look at the charts in just a bit here. But coming up on Friday, we have retail sales numbers for the month here for pound, or for UK, I should say. So if the numbers come in higher than expected, just like we saw for the US, in that case, we're likely to see pound go up. In terms of everything else, we do have some CPI numbers here. So at this point, inflation is expected to be higher than the previous one. But if the number comes in more than what we are expecting here, then that would be a concern. But CPI numbers we've already had. But again, it would be a much bigger number than expected, would cause a concern, especially with the ECB saying they are going to continue supporting the markets. It doesn't show any sort of desire to raise rates at this point. But again, if the CPI numbers are much higher, they won't have a choice but to then raise rates. So we will keep an eye on that. Consumer sentiment numbers are expected to be higher than the previous numbers. Now, with the new wave of COVID, if this changes, that could be negative for the US, for the US dollar. So that's it. We are fairly light in terms of news here on Friday. So let's go on to our charts. We'll start off with euro dollar. Okay, for the euro, we saw the euro drop based on part of it was comments from ECB, part of it was just the US dollar gaining strength. And in this case, we do see a break through the support level here and nice solid bearish candle close. So I'm looking for a bit of a pullback here and a continuation lower. So pullback could be into 1.1785. That's the area I would take a look at. Now, keep in mind, we are also coming into Friday, which means things could reverse. So Fridays can be reversal days, so just bear that in mind. But based on the technicals here, this does look bearish at this point. Pound yen here, pound did drop. Now this is the range it's been trading in over the last little while. And now we are towards the lower bound of the range. And this is where price has struggled previously. So we need to be careful. We do have a nice bearish candle close, but as we can see, we are also into the support area. So here, if it fails to go through the support, I'm looking for a retest of 1.3770. But if it fails to go through, we can see a move back into the range again. However, if it does go through here, then I will look for a continuation lower into 1.3730. So at this point, neutral to bearish bias here for pound dollar. Aussie dollar moved up a bit, but then turned around, as we can see right into this support resistance level. We have a nice bearish candle close at this point. So bearish bias here, we could get a pullback. So that's something to watch out for. In terms of the pullback, I'm looking at 0.7320 level and then a continuation lower towards 0.7220. So bearish bias here for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, this one as well has dropped. As we can see, price did move up, but then came back down. And finally, we have a close right below the level where it was getting stuck at the bottom of this range that it's been trading in. At this point, bearish bias, but watch out for a pullback here. And then we're looking for a continuation lower. However, sometimes what can happen is can go back into the range and then we are back into the range. So it gets stuck in the range. So that's something to be cautious, like something to keep in mind. But as long as it holds below, we may get a pullback higher here and into 0.7085 level, and then looking for a drop. So bearish bias here for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD, this has been choppy back and forth here. It's been stuck in this range for over a week now. Every candle has reversed essentially. So this is neutral here, looking for a range bound move here from dollar CAD between 1.2700 and 1.2600. So neutral bias here for dollar CAD. Commodities here, quite a drop for silver. And we saw that price went and retested the resistance and then just dropped from there. So right now it is looking bearish, but watch out for a pullback, and we could get a pullback either into 23.30 or it could go higher. So we have quite a drop here. This is a very inefficient drop, which can get filled. So we'll keep an eye on that. Overall bearish bias, next target is 22.60. And then we are looking at 22.30. So bearish bias for silver. Gold here, again, quite a drop in gold today. So in this case, looking for a pullback. So first level to watch out would be 1765. Overall, it does have bearish bias here. So looking for a bit of a pullback. If it holds, then we're looking for a drop, or it could go a little higher as well. That's quite an inefficient drop, but from previous experience, we've seen that it can continue lower. So still bearish bias here. And in terms of targets, first target will be the low, which is 1745, then 1737, and potentially into 1724. So we'll keep an eye here, bearish bias for gold still. Oil here, oil's looking neutral, wasn't able to get through, which means we could see a turnaround. So I'm looking for a retest of 72.85. If it holds, we're looking for a drop here. So bias here is neutral, and target in this case is 71.00. Copper, copper has dropped as well. Bias is bearish here. Next target is 4.16. Bitcoin not able to make through the resistance, and as we can see, price was into this previous support resistance level here, and it's struggling now. So in this case, I'm looking for a retest of 48,350. If it fails, then we are back again, back into this range that I was trying to get out of. Should we go through, then we have this entire inefficient move that could get filled. For now, though, this is neutral. S&P 500, very, very choppy moves in the market right now. Price has been trading in a range the whole entire week, and I am looking for price to stay in this range. So neutral bias, looking for a move between 4,500 and 4,450. Nasdaq here, Nasdaq dropped initially, and again, this one is also stuck in a bit of a range. We do have that rejection, so I'm looking for a retest of 15,550. If it fails, we are back down again. So overall, though, looking for a range bound move here for Nasdaq as well. So neutral bias for Nasdaq. Dow Jones here, this one also looking neutral here. In this case, if it doesn't go through the support, then we're looking for a range bound move. Once again, price has been stuck between 35,000 and 34,580. and that's the range I'm looking for it to trade. Should it break through the support, then we have room to the downside. 34,120 will be the next target. But first, we have to see, can it get through the support or not? So right now, neutral to bearish bias here for Dow Jones. DAX is still trading in a range. This one's been going back and forth, as we can see. And basically, that's what we are looking for here as well. Looking potentially move towards the top of the range, which is 15,765. And then the support here, 15,600. So neutral bias here for DAX. FTSE as well, still stuck in a range. It's been very choppy. And I'm looking for a move between 7,100 and 7,000. So neutral bias for FTSE as well. Nikkei dropped nicely and then pulled back up. At this point, it's still stuck in a range. There is some bearishness in it. So I'm looking for a bit of a drop here. But if it holds, it could go back into the range here. So right now, neutral bias and looking for retest of 30,000, let's say 30,200. So neutral bias for Nikkei as well. So that's it for now. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I will be back again on Sunday with the weekly analysis. Bye for now.